The following is a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. Hollywood Redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is Black Hollywood Live, Black Sports Weekly, featuring weekly in-depth interviews with some of today's most talked about athletes. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood Redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host of Black Hollywood Live, Black Sports Weekly.
Oh, here we go again.
Take two.
Yeah. Go. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, sports fans, and welcome to another fantastic week of Sports Weekly on BHL. I'm your host, Thaddeus, Massey, and joining me today is...
Hey everyone, I'm Jackie Bell.
And
I'm Charlotte Broadbent. That sounded like you were gonna go shawty. It's your birthday. Because you kept saying go.
It does. I feel like I was in the club. Every time I hear this song, I feel like I'm in the club. I feel like they're gonna play shots after that song. It's like a natural mix, I guess. Anyway, Kevin John couldn't be here with us, and I know he's gonna be mad because I've got the ladies all to myself. Kevin is doing some charity work. Is that what you were saying? He was doing some charity work, giving back to the kids.
Yeah, he's helping out. He's coaching some young kids that I think come from broken homes. Yeah.
That's cool.
That's nice.
It fits his persona. Kevin is the giving and nice, sweet kind of guy. So.
And he definitely has a kid-like personality too. He'll fit right in with this kid.
Yeah.
It's for sure.
Kevin is like.
He's a kid himself.
Right. He's all fun and they're like, Kevin. He's like a big kid. He's like, but he has a mustache. Like, oh. Is he our age or not? So. Some interesting things happened in the last week. The legend, Mean Joe Green, has got his number retired. Defensive tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The famous, I think it was a Coca-Cola commercial he did, where he gave this kid his jersey after the game. It's a classic commercial. I remember when I was little. I'm telling my age right now, but you know, it was a popular commercial. Everybody remembers this one commercial from Mean Joe Green. Anyway, so, or was that Bubba Smith? No, I think it was Mean Joe Green. Anyway, so they're retiring his number, and his persona fit the whole Steelers black Iron Curtain, you know, the Iron Curtain for defense. You know, it was part of that whole thing, and I think they should have retired his number before now, but it's finally getting done. You know, you never know how these things work administratively or whatever, what's going on, but it's finally happening, and it's happened. It's happened.
Yeah, it was just a matter of time.
Right, it was just a matter of time, and it's happened now. So, congratulations to Mean Joe Green and his family and that legacy. That's awesome for him because the Steelers are quite the NFL organization. And their defense has gone down in history, and he was really a part of establishing that persona of what they try to maintain. Yeah. You got guys there like Troy Polamalu, who's keeping the persona going, having a tough defense. You know, I'm not sure how much the pretty hair flowing out of his helmet helps. He has like these locks, and he's doing like these hair commercials and stuff now, but he's with the irony and what makes it funny is that he's such a tough player, and he's like knocking guys out on the field. So that's what makes it really funny that he has this beautiful head of hair flowing from his helmet, but he's like laying guys out. He's a tough player. So congratulations to the Green family on number 75 being.
It's like the ultimate recognition when you get the number. Resigned, that no one else can use it. I mean, it's your number, it's his. He was a great player, he was part of a great institution, and a great team. And you're right, he was one of those people that started the great defensive legacy.
Yeah.
For the Steelers, and it's his number now. No one else can take that away from him.
Yeah, it definitely was his time. But my question is, like, where do you draw the line, though? He definitely deserved it, but retiring the number, like, there's only so many numbers. Like, what do you do when you run out of players to honor?
or numbers to use.
That's what I mean. I'm sorry, numbers to use.
Right, no, I get it.
Well, you have to pick, on different teams, you have to pick which player you really want to resign the number,
Right.
you know? I don't know how many the Steelers have.
They only did one in the 60s.
So it's
So
only
they
been...
only have one number
They only did one.
that they've retired since.
So now it's 2 total.
In the 60s, that was a whole different era, too. So technically, he's the first guy.
Exactly. And I mean, I think it's going to be a long time until... Because they're really choosy. Teams are super picky about...
Oh, they have to be.
Exactly.
You can't just retire, a player's number just to retire it.
Right.
There has to be...
Or you will run out of numbers.
Yeah, you will run out of numbers.
Exactly.
You can't just make one great play. There has to be something that was great and legendary and iconic about that player in order for them to actually retire that number. Very few players it happens for, and that's the reason why. It's a big, big deal. So, Hall of Fame players usually have their numbers retired. Not all of them have their numbers retired. I don't know. It's like weird. Like going to the Hall of Fame is like obviously really cool. Needless to say,
But it's not. It doesn't necessarily mean.
Right. It doesn't necessarily mean the number is going to be retired, and the number getting retired is. I don't know. I don't know if I had a choice to say, look, you have your number retired, or
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
You pick Hall of Fame. How about you, Jackie?
I think I would want my number retired only because it's just nobody else can do that.
Yeah.
Nobody on that team, nobody else can have my number. It's definitely significant.
It is.
And people remember that.
Yeah, because
you
say another player comes along and they're like, "Oh, I want number whatever it is," and it's like,
No, that's Mean Joe Green's number. You can't have that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so many players associate their identity with their number.
Yeah.
It's true.
Not just their name. Like that's part of your brand. So that's why it's such a big deal. Like,
What would you go for?
I don't know. I might go for the number retirement because I know what that means.
Yeah.
Like psychologically to other players, the respect level is just, I couldn't get that number because you had it retired. It's like you're the man. Your number's retired. That's how good you were. That no one else is good enough to wear that number.
Yeah. You're talking about years. He's the only one ever, besides the one guy in the 60s, to have his number retired.
Right.
So I will go for the number.
Big ups, Mean Joe. That's hot.
Number 75
Number
is off the
75
market,
is
y'all.
off the market for good. Unless sometimes they unretire numbers if it's like a son or something like that. I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
They retired Marcus Johnson. He played pro basketball, and he actually is still, I think he still does commentating. He's still a commentator for the NBA. He played for the Clippers and a couple other teams, but he played at UCLA. And they retired his number. And his number was retired until his son, Chris Johnson, who had played his whole career wearing the same number, came to UCLA as well. And they allowed him to wear it. So he was wearing the same number.
Family legacy.
Right. So situations like that, sometimes they make exceptions and they're like, okay, well, it makes sense. It's his son or it's whatever, blah, 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 or, a family member. But I think it has to be like a son or, in this case, Joe Green would probably be like a grandson.
I was about to say, I don't think Joe Green will have, not a son I think that's past,
like,
but maybe a grandson.
Maybe a grandson.
It's like,
to don the number.
But,
or great-grandson. I don't know. Who knows? Because he was a little older. Okay, so next, Joe Torrez.
Oh, boy.
He just looks mean right there. Why would you break into his house?
I'm sure the guy didn't know that it was...
I don't know.
What do you think? Do you think the guy knew?
When you break into someone's house, you don't just break into a house willy-nilly. You do research. You watch the house for at least a couple days prior. I mean...
Do you?
But in this situation...
Smart burglars do.
Okay. If you're burglarizing, are you really smart anyway? If you're breaking into somebody's house,
some burglars are, yeah. Because if you're gonna burgle a house, you don't just burgle any old house. If you're a burglar, you want to burgle a house that has the most valuable.
Burgle a house. I've never heard somebody say.
Really?
You want to burgle a house?
A burglar.
I guess it makes sense. But
I'm
Burgle,
speaking the Queen's English.
I see. I like this. This is a great perk of having Charlotte Broadbent on the show because she's from the other side of the pond. But I love that.
But seriously, you want to rob. I'll say rob. You want to rob the house that has the most valuable assets, that has the stuff that you can sell on. I guess that's a smart burglar.
Right.
So I think that they watch. I mean, I've known instances where my friends have been burgled, and the burglar knows exactly when they're not home. You have to watch them for a couple days prior to know what kind of schedule they're in, whenabouts during the day they're going to be out. So you
if you consider yourself a professional.
But even when you're just breaking in, you need to make sure they're gone for a good while.
Well, it's funny because they're actually friends. The person that broke into the house is his friend, so it makes absolute sense.
Wait.
Yeah,
what?
they're friends.
The guy died, right?
The guy that he killed, they know each other. And that's why I'm confused about why they're, I don't know. So somebody breaks into somebody's house, you have the right to defend your family. But in this instant, I feel like they need to do more, not research, what do you call it when you're in a trial? More, you need more evidence about, they had a friendship, they knew each other. So it's like you need to know a little bit more about what happened, why it happened, because even if he was protecting himself and his family, there has to be some history there for his friend to break into the house.
Yeah, and I mean, just...
Well, the guy wasn't alone either.
Yeah, I mean,
there was
three of them.
Yeah, there was three of them.
Yeah.
So in a situation like that, and you have a family or whatever, you're gonna do what you have to do, and it's like, whatever. Maybe he befriended him just so he could try to rob him. Maybe.
Smart burglar, you see.
Maybe I doubt he was like
right.
a childhood friend or something
Exactly.
like
I don't
that.
think they were buddy,
Yeah.
but I'm sure they knew each
just
other. But that's what I
acquaintances.
mean. It's a smart burglar. Like, he knew what he was going in for. They knew what they were going to rob from him.
Right.
They knew what they were going to get.
Right.
They didn't expect him to be home, obviously. And
Or maybe they thought because there was three of them, they would, But that doesn't make any sense either. They probably were expecting him not to be home.
no, people are crazy.
Because,
I don't
people
know.
are
You don't
crazy.
know what he
Was thinking.
intending on doing.
And we never find out.
I don't know. But
'Cause
they
he's
did say that
gone.
he had a lot of alcohol in his system, like with the blood. So who knows? He was drunk, going up in there, and I don't know what.
it wasn't like, I mean, when you're a fighter, you expect, like, when I first saw the headline, I was like, oh, well, he just beat the guy to death. But it wasn't. He stabbed him. So it's different. It's like when you stab someone, maybe it's out of self-defense. But if these people didn't have guns, which I believe they didn't, what
But how
are they...
how do you know what they have?
Well, I've read a lot about the story.
I mean, no, not you. I mean, as the victim, how do you know what three people breaking into your house have and what they don't have? How do you not know? You have to assume the worst. You don't know what they.
This man's
if they have
a
a
fighter.
gun.
You know what I mean? He
and
was
to use
prepared.
a
He was
gun.
just like, I'm
And
gonna
he's-
go in there.
And he's used to fighting one-on-one. There's got three guys, and does Joe have I think Joe has a family, right? Mm-hmm. So.
A wife and a kid.
Right.
The unfortunate thing about when stories like this are in the media, that it kind of...
Should have used a gun if he had one.
They kind of get
kneecaps.
special treatment. And they don't get as harsh of a punishment. I mean, if this was any old man that this had happened to, probably have gone to jail. He killed someone.
It depends. It depends on the situation. It depends on the state. It depends on because I've read a lot of posts or whatever. A lot of people commenting on the story, and one person said if this would have happened in Texas, it would have been business as usual.
I'm from Texas.
Yeah,
and
you
it's
know
like
that.
if you just step on the lawn,
Yeah.
you have a right to shoot somebody.
Exactly. So it kind of
True.
depends on where you are and all these kind of things because there's just trespassing. Like, what is your business there? What are you doing there? What were your intentions? No one's gonna just get up and stab you, and you're at their house, and they have their family there, and you have. Motive and intention is pretty much. It weighs heavily. I understand what you're saying because
You are right, but people in the media do tend to get some kind of special treatment. I mean, how many times has Justin Bieber messed up?
A lot.
Yeah.
That's just one example. I know he's not sports, but he's in the limelight.
Right.
How many times has he messed up that people have done?
he's been protecting himself
that-
from Orlando Bloom lately.
Yeah. There's so many examples of where a celebrity, an athlete, somebody that's in the limelight has been given an easier, no sentencing, but given an easier time.
Right.
I agree with you, but I think in this certain situation, I think it was fair. you know, you have somebody coming in, and they did have a weapon. I think they had like they said a knife, a little, who knows what that knife could have done. But somebody's coming into your house, you have a kid and your wife. You're an MMA fighter. You're already on protective mode. And I feel like it was the right decision. If anybody's going to break into your house that late, drunk, with 3 other guys. It's not even by himself. You have 3 other guys with you.
I think it was 2 other guys.
Yeah,
2 other guys. I'm sorry.
It was 3 total.
So 3 guys total
still.
coming to your house. I mean, I think he totally had the right to protect his family. So I agree with it.
It may be, I mean, I don't know. Who knows if he went overboard or if things just got out of hand.
Yeah.
You know, but the state, the prosecutors didn't find enough evidence to like. Sorry. That's my selfie song on my ringer. I don't feel like they didn't have enough evidence to prosecute him or bring charges. They said it was self-defense. I mean, I'm sure they did their due diligence, but Charlotte, I do understand what you're saying, because it is like a two-edged sword when it comes to people in the public eye. They get the special treatment a lot. Sometimes it seems like they just pick and choose who they want to make an example of.
Lindsay Lohan, another example.
That girl has so many chances. That's just ridiculous.
A lot of celebs just are problem children of the system.
And another example, I mean, I can't think of his name. He just got suspended from 2 games in the coming season because he beat his wife.
Oh, yeah.
Ray Rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we did talk about that. We covered that earlier this year. And then there was this big thing about it with, I think we're kind of going off subject, but Whoopi Goldberg came under fire for her comments regarding abuse. And because Stephen A. Smith said something, Stephen A. Smith from ESPN was saying women shouldn't, I don't want to say exactly what he said because I don't remember exactly what he said, but I think he alluded, a lot of people got the idea that he alluded to the fact that women were provoking the domestic abuse, and he came under fire for that. And Whoopi Goldberg kind of helped clarify what he was saying, which was, if you know you're going to be hit, don't hit. Like, nobody should hit anybody, period, regardless of gender. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, and then other women, like Jenny McCarthy, was like, it doesn't matter. You know, man should never hit a woman, never, 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 blah, blah, blah. But I mean, I kind of, go ahead, Charlotte, what are you going to say?
I mean, violence, period. And this is another big sports story this week. He did a press conference in front of the players. I mean, it was filmed, all of the players. His wife was sat up top looking over the press conference, watching.
Yeah.
And it's just when...
They weren't married at the time, mind you, and they were just engaged, and she still ended up marrying him. So...
Yeah, and when...
What happened in that elevator? I don't know, because I thought I was going to actually get to see footage of that, and then all you see is him just pulling her out of the door. like what? What happened?
But he admitted in the press conference that he needs help, and not in those words, but before he can help other people, he has to fix himself.
Of course.
Which, I mean, the press conference was very well written. Whoever wrote it, it was very well spoken, and yes, it probably came from the heart as well. But you know, these press conferences, they're written. I mean, it had to be.
Right.
He couldn't just go into this willy-nilly and say whatever came from the heart, because it's not going to come across when millions of people are watching at home, your wife's watching, all your teammates, your coaches. Yes, he's been banned for two games. Is that a big enough punishment? That's the question.
I don't know how to feel about these certain situations, because on one hand, you know, they are in the public eye and you want to have some kind of consequences because that behavior isn't acceptable. But on the other hand, I feel like they are just like everybody else, and everybody does make certain mistakes. Should that impact, you know, their game, or like, you know, with Tiger Woods, like all these like things that I just don't know if they're people like everybody else.
Right.
You're right. I mean, is a financial advisor comes home and beats his wife. Is he not allowed to work for 2 days or 2 weeks?
But being in the eye too, I think it could
that's a
help.
good point. That's a good point, Charlotte.
It could help, you know, other people change the way that they do behave.
Exactly.
So it's like, I don't know. Like,
Exactly,
what's best?
Exactly. You have to set a precedent and you have to set an example for other people that this isn't okay.
Right.
But then this is his job. Should he be banned from doing his job because of his personal life?
That is the question.
I'm glad I don't have you say in all this. I'm glad we leave it up to them to make the decisions because I don't know.
That is interesting. But at the end of the day, keep your hands to yourselves unless it's in a loving way.
Yeah. It's true,
This is what
though.
you're supposed to play. The more you know music. Dun, dun, dun. The more you know. Yeah, because everybody should just, not be violent. Don't be violent.
Absolutely.
There's no need for it.
You're right.
No.
Back to the other story, though. There was a guy recently who broke into someone's house and landed on a kitchen knife and injured himself and sued the family. And
I heard about that. That's so ridiculous.
yeah. So that's just to piggyback on the story we just were talking about as far as...
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, because...
I broke into your house, but that knife there, I wasn't expecting it,
Right.
and I stabbed myself, so I'm suing you. How
Right.
dare you leave that knife out?
Right.
How dare you?
Not allowing me
Who wasn't planning that?
Not allowing me to finish stealing all your stuff.
That was not in my plan.
How rude.
Oh my God.
Anyway, okay, so David Stern has been giving a lot of props to Adam Silver, who's the new commissioner of the NBA for this whole Sterling situation. I think I'm thinking like, if I'm Silver, I'm like, when this happened, I'm like, yes. Now everybody's going to know who I am. I'm going to be famous. I'm like, crack this
Really?
guy.
I'd be thinking opposite.
Yeah, I don't think he's thinking that. I think he's thinking, great, I'm new and this has already happened.
Right, like 3 months in, and this is what I have to deal with right when I get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Like,
I mean, okay,
running for the doors.
let's put it like this. You can never prove your worth unless you have an opportunity to show
I like that.
what
It's
you
true.
can do.
That's true.
So it's like being a wide receiver, right? If you're a wide receiver and the quarterback throws every pass perfectly to you, is that really a great quarterback or is that a great receiver? Now it's like, as a great receiver, or if the pass is thrown perfectly to you, you're expected to catch the ball. You're expected to catch the ball anyway. But if you have an errant pass that's like nowhere and then you go and catch it, now you have a chance to prove that you're a great player, because now you're in a situation that the quarterback is not showing he's a great quarterback. Now you have an opportunity to show that you're a great receiver because you can go and fix
Fair enough.
a
Nice
situation.
analogy.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
He definitely
And I
rises
think-
to the occasion.
I think, I'll be honest with you, and this is horrible, but I wasn't even hip to this guy until this situation. And because David Stern has been in the league for so many years, and he's still a consultant to the league, and he's still like very much involved.
You had a
As far-
tough position to fill.
You're right. As far as I'm concerned, it was still David Stern, running things. This guy Silver comes out of nowhere, as far as I'm concerned, with that, I'm like, who's this guy? So he had an opportunity to step up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna fight him for the maximum. I'm gonna ban him from the league. This is unacceptable. Blah 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 blah. Which all of it, of course, it is. But it was a perfect opportunity for him to step up and show what he can do.
Yeah, I think that this situation, and I think David Stern telling Silver that he's done a great job, I think that's raising his credibility for everybody, because everyone
Right.
reads and believes what they read. So I think it's raising everyone's idea of who Adam Silver is and what a great commissioner he can be. I mean, the whole situation's kind of a mess, and especially now it's going to be going to trial.
Right, because everybody knows how litigious Donald Sterling is.
Yeah.
So, to quote David Stern, though, he said, quote, he's done great, referring to Adam Silver. He has been forceful. He has been reflective. He has been buttoned down. And I think he has also demonstrated a compassionate side as well. So I think it's going to end well.
Yeah, I liked how he just like kind of nipped it in the butt. Like he went right ahead and addressed the situation really fast. And then I agree with him how he was compassionate about it. He kind of understood a little bit and didn't really just go right in and say, okay, he was wrong. He saw both sides, but then at the end of the day, he made a decision and made it fast. And I think that's why everybody was happy with him.
Now, was there really two sides?
There wasn't two sides, but...
Because, the argument has been about this situation is that he thought he was speaking privately. He didn't think he was being recorded.
And
is it okay to be a private bigot behind closed doors?
And
I don't know.
That's
is
going to
that
come
cool?
up when they're in court. That's going to come up. And with his legal background and everything, that that he's researching all this. And he has a lawyer, but that he's doing everything he can to build up the knowledge to try to fight this as much as he can.
I think he is a lawyer too.
He was.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know if I really believe or agree with it's okay to be.
No,
it's okay for anybody to think what they want to think, as long as they're not imposing injustices and the suppression of civil rights against other people. Then anybody can think what they want to think. Unfortunately, we don't want people to think negative things about other people anyway, because it affects your relationships. It affects the tone of the world and how we deal with each other.
This just goes back to what we were just talking about before, just being in the spotlight. These are things that he thinks about and that he talks about with people, and that's his business. You know, if that's what he chooses to do, that's what he chooses to do. But you're in the spotlight and you got caught up, and that's the consequences. Like we were talking about with the football player, Rice.
Rice, yeah.
He did what he did, and nobody would have known about it, and he would have done whatever he does. But since people saw it, there's going to be consequences, and you can't make excuses for that. Once people see your actions and it's on the big screen, you're affecting people, you're influencing people, and at the end of the day, that's what it is.
Well, there was no consequences for Solange, and we saw her get all up in Jay-Z's butt in the elevator. So I don't know about that analogy, but maybe that's not sports related, so that's none of my business. I'm gonna Kermit the Frog that one. That's none of my business.
But you're so right, Jackie. And especially when you're the owner of a basketball team,
that's predominant.
It's predominantly African American. What was it? 90-something percent. You just can't. You can't say anything. If he thinks it's one thing,
what if it was hockey and there's
you still can't say it.
One black guy every 5 teams. There's only a handful of black guys in the whole team.
It's still not acceptable.
Right.
It's still not acceptable. But the fact
that do you think it would have been handled differently?
Yes.
How do you think it would have been handled?
I don't know.
Do you think it's just a bigger problem because the league is majority black?
Do you mean
in the NBA?
Well, do you mean if the owner of, say, the LA Kings had said that?
Yes.
I do think it would have been handled differently.
It would have been handled differently.
Yeah, because...
And then the players wouldn't... the players now in the NBA, they're going against it and saying, hey, if he's going to be the owner, we're not playing. So that's not money. There's no money going in the pocket. Whereas, obviously the hockey players wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
You don't think the hockey players would stand up and say...
I don't think so.
I don't think... Not in the same way, no. Because it's not directly affecting the LA Kings.
Absolutely.
If their owner said that.
I mean, there was other players in the NBA that were just going to stand up and do something about it. LeBron was very outspoken about it. Other players were outspoken about it. And I'm just thinking, is it probably because the league is a majority African American? I think that's part of the problem societally. We have to have people that are willing to stand up against injustice, even if it's not, because an injustice against one person is injustice against everybody.
Yeah.
If that person is being affected, if something is affecting you that's not really you, it's still affecting you regardless, because it easily can be turned around on you. It could be a situation where it's okay, we don't like cute blonde girls England. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And nothing that was said was right. It shouldn't have been said. I mean, it shouldn't even be thought. This is the 21st century.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even be in people's minds. But unfortunately, it's come to light because he said that. But I don't think it would have been handled the same way if it had been a different.
If it had been different league.
If it had been a different sport that's not primarily African American, which is sad.
Yeah,
but I think that's the truth.
It was more revenue and money related. This can affect our money. I mean, think about it. Say the league decided they wanted to boycott or something. What are you gonna do? It's not the bargaining agreement related or anything like that. It has nothing to do with them getting paid. Now you have like a civil rights movement going on that has nothing to do. It's like, and the owners would, of course, the owners are going to be like, well, yeah, get him out. There's going to be a vote. They're going to get him out because they don't want that. Now, what's sad is I'm pretty sure it only makes sense that he has other friends in the league that are owners, and they probably have these conversations together. But they're going to vote him out because they don't want their money being affected because he got caught.
Yeah, their asses are on the line too.
And that's my question too. Yeah, he's not going to be the owner anymore, but I feel like he's still going to make some kind of revenue off of the Clippers. I don't know. Like on the
he's
side,
going to make how much? $100 million?
$2 billion.
Ridiculous.
By selling it. But I'm saying I feel like there's still going to be some kind of connection there. Or am I wrong?
We'll see.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see what.
I mean, you're an owner for so many years. I just feel like your hand's still, even though you don't have like that title, like your hand's still in many.
And he's been in there for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has a few people that are loyal to him as well. So
you know what I mean?
We'll see how that regime change and that shift.
But ultimately,
goes.
yeah, $2 billion that he's selling it for, or his wife's selling it for. He's not doing so bad. I wish there was more penalties.
And he gets the $2.5 million max. Fine. Like, you don't need that. Here, go ahead and give that over here.
Yeah.
Let me pass that along. Anyway, so our last story really quickly before we wrap, Charlotte.
Well, Cespedes was traded out to the Red Sox for, it was Lester? John Lester, and an outfielder too. I can't remember his name. Oh, it was Johnny Gomes. So they're both, I mean, what do you guys think about this? I mean, Cespedes is, the A's are arguably one of the best teams in baseball right now.
Yes.
And for them to trade out their best player,
It's a big picture move.
Yeah, he won the All-Star, the home derby.
Right.
He won the home run derby.
Yeah.
And Cespedes is a great player. A great player. Is this a great move for the A's to bring in Lester? He led them to a World Series, and he's a great pitcher. I think they're thinking in the long run because Cespedes' contract ran out next year, and then they're bringing in pitcher and an outfielder. But is this the right move for them? They are arguably the best team in baseball right now.
I think it's a big risk. I think, what if John Lester doesn't come back? And he is an awesome pitcher for them. I think it's a risk. They think that he will come back, but what if he doesn't? I think that's definitely a valuable player that they don't want to lose. But I think they're thinking that he's just going to come back and everything's going to be okay. But I think it's a big risk.
That'll be interesting to see how that story.
It is mid-season because the A's have already started to kind of fall off the past couple games.
Yeah.
So I think it is a big risk for them when they started the season off so well.
Right.
How many they're mid-season, so they have a lot of games left still. They have a lot of baseball games.
They have a lot left, but they're already starting to fall off. And now the fact that they've lost Cespedes, I don't know if the smartest move, but you have to trust management.
It has to be a big picture move. That's a big picture move.
Exactly, and it just reminds everyone that it's just all a business. It's a business, that they're being traded for someone else, and
it's a business.
They're just cattle being sold around.
But it's kind of true.
Yeah.
The players have just been passed along for another one.
And this is why players aren't loyal to teams anymore. It's because they're like, well, they can just.
You're just going to trade me anyway.
I need to get the most money I can for my career to secure me and my family and my future before. A lot of players that came under fire for leaving and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But as you can see, you can do whatever you can for an organization and
still
they can
people not just exactly. People just aren't loyal anymore. Jeter, he was with
those teams ain't loyal.
He's with the Jets. For how long? And that's what a loyal player, and that's how it used to be.
Yeah.
And that's how people got into. Became like the greatest of all time and won all those titles because they stayed with a team and they brought them to a championship. Then they may have gone with the struggles. They kept going with the struggles, worked back through the struggles. But now it's just so easy to be traded.
It's all business. It's clear. It's so transparent now. You guys need to tighten up ship in you professional leagues out there. NBA, MLB.
And then
NFL.
we should do a remix. These teams ain't loyal.
These teams ain't loyal.
No. These teams ain't loyal.
These teams ain't loyal. Chris Brown should have did that to ESPYs. Anyway, him and Drake. Anyway, so we're wrapping up now.
One last quick question.
Go ahead, Charlotte.
College football, who do you think is going to win this year? Nabate said, I think he said Auburn. Kevin thinks FSU. I'm FSU. And FSU's number one in the coaches poll.
Since I'm a Bruin, I got to go with UCLA.
Oh, come on. Realistically.
The pressure's on, guys.
I'm just going to say FSU because you went there, and I'm go with you. Go with what you say.
But I think they have the best team. If they pull,
they are preseason ranked number 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and if they do what they do, I mean, a couple years prior to last year, they were
Jameson's coming back, right?
Supposed to be.
He better not get into trouble. No more crab leg stealing.
Well, another article came out that him and a teammate were held at gunpoint by police in Tallahassee. I don't know when it was. A couple years back. But this is a couple years back. The story's just coming out. They were held at gunpoint for trying to. It was something to do with animals. Don't remember exactly, but it's something to do with shooting, but they were held at gunpoint. It's just like, Jameis,
his life story is gonna be really good one day.
Yeah, the media, man.
Jameis Winston. Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, where can we find you guys until next time?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Jackie_POW or on Twitter at Jackie with 2 E's _POW.
You can find me at Charlotte on Twitter and Instagram at CharlotteB_TV or at my website, CharlotteBroadbentTV.com. I don't know anything about me.
And you can find me on all social media at Club Thaddeus, CLUBTHADDEUS, and GQJedi.com. Until next time, sports fans. Peace.
See you later.
See you later.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.
Thanks for watching Black Hollywood Live on YouTube. For more in-depth interviews and news, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion in the comment section below here. See you soon, everyone. Bye.